The following program is sponsored by CBN.
Coming up, an archaeological discovery, 3,000 years in the making, seals from Israel's King Hezekiah and Prophet Isaiah.
This is science proving the Bible.
Plus, the featured couple on TLC's Rattled. Ryan and Julia Sadler share their story of a triple miracle. And then, an American aid worker is ambushed by a radicalized Muslim.
I started screaming, "Daddy, that man has a gun, he has a gun."
On today's 700 Club.
I said, Lord, this is not the way it was supposed to be.
Hello and welcome to the 700 Club. Hurricane Lane is lashing the Hawaiian Islands today. The powerful storm is inundating the islands with several feet of rainfall. Flash flood warnings are a big part of the danger, and at least 5 tourists have already been rescued from a flooded home. Jennifer Wishon has more on what's yet to come.
Instead of luau's, loud sirens warn tourists to leave Hawaii's world-famous beaches as Hurricane Lane smacks the islands with winds and bands of debilitating rain. Packing winds of 120 miles per hour, the Category 3 hurricane is hammering Hawaii's main islands Friday, bringing dangerous surf of 20 feet.
The huge threat is from rain, and you cannot underestimate how much rain is going to be falling across some of those islands.
In some areas, nearly 2 feet of rain have already fallen, and 2 or 3 more are expected across the islands. Already, mudslides are limiting travel as residents brace for flooding.
I mean, we used to run around this park as little kids, and now it's a raging river.
And with rising waters come rising anxieties.
I feel like it's gonna come more, and our house is gonna get kind of knocked down and stuff like that. So I just pray and stuff to not make it happen.
Major hotels are allowing their guests to stay, but urging them to stay inside. Still, many tourists are seeking shelters.
We were very afraid of the storm, and in France we don't have storm like that, so we decided not to stay near the beach and to go to the shelter.
Residents are hunkering down.
It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark, and so what that means is readiness is important.
Many stores are already closed. Many others are running out of supplies.
Be prepared to shelter in place, 14 days of food and supplies and water, medicine.
Nestled in the Central Pacific, Hawaii rarely gets hit by hurricanes. The last major storm to hit the islands was Iniki back in 1992. Already, Hurricane Lane is one islanders won't soon forget.
This is not just going to be over in the next 24 hours. This system is going to be with us for the next 4 or 5 days, continuing to bring winds to the island, to bring large surf, as well as the torrential rains that we've talked about.
Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Well, the potential damage is potentially considerable. So please keep Hawaii in your prayers. I know that there are many people who couldn't get out, though they tried to. And so we just all need to be watching and praying as they endure this for the next several days. Well, in other news, President Trump and his attorney general are feuding again. John Jessup has more on that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Terry. The public dispute between President Trump and Attorney General Jeff Sessions is heating up. The president is criticizing Sessions again for recusing himself from the Russia investigation, saying he failed to take control of the Justice Department. On Thursday, Sessions punched back at Trump's comment, saying he and his department, quote, will not be improperly influenced by political considerations. Now, fellow Republican Lindsey Graham says it may be time for a new face at the Justice Department. Graham says, quote, the president's entitled to having an attorney general he has faith in. Well, 2 Iranian spies captured in the United States were reportedly plotting attacks, according to the Clarion Project. The Justice Department charged the 2 Iranian citizens this week. They were gathering intelligence on people and groups Iran considered enemies of the Islamic regime. That included Jewish facilities, specific Americans, and an Iranian resistance group. Well, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton concluded his 3-day tour in Israel this week, talking with reporters. His central message, the Trump administration will enforce its tough line on Iran. To Israelis, that's a breath of fresh air. Chris Mitchell brings us the story from Jerusalem.
Throughout his visit, Bolton stressed for Israelis that the U.S. will never allow Iran to get nuclear weapons. And he noted that the strict economic sanctions on Iran are generating real anti-government protests.
And by bringing the hammer down again of reimposing American sanctions, we've seen a profound negative effect on Iran. I think actually more serious than we would have predicted. And what's significant about the demonstrations and outpourings that you've seen across Iran is that, to the best of our knowledge, they're not organized. This is not some kind of conspiracy in Iran. It's just regular people saying they're fed up with the government.
Bolton's 4-day stay here was longer than most official visits. That's partly because the White House is preparing to lay the groundwork for the rollout of its Middle East peace plan. He made it clear that the U.S. will not impose its plan on either Israel or the Palestinians, but he's skeptical about whether Israel has a real peace partner.
I can't even begin to count the number of ceasefires we've heard from Hamas, Hezbollah, other terrorist groups over the years. I would be stunned if anybody in the government of Israel is viewing this with anything other than very, very clear-eyed understanding of what it's about. It's a sad outcome for the Palestinian people that all they've got now is a choice between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority.
For Israelis, the fact that Bolton spent several days with the country's top leadership is a refreshing change of pace. Caroline Glick is chief columnist for the Jerusalem Post.
What you're really seeing here is a business-like atmosphere of two allies coming together and discussing common interests, which is something that we haven't seen in the past from U.S. administrations who were blind to the basic reality, which is that Israel is the United States' most powerful ally in the Middle East.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Chris. He's been called America's biggest serial killer, and his victims, children. A new movie documenting the crimes and trial of notorious abortion doctor Kermit Gosnell is about to hit theaters, a remarkable feat considering what the filmmakers are claiming. They say Hollywood leftists conspired to keep it off the big screen in an effort to silence its pro-life message. Charlene Aaron has the story.
All right, listen up. We're looking for anything that looks like drugs or paraphernalia.
Audiences will finally get to see and hear details of a true-life horror story. In Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest serial killer.
I don't know, I've never been in an abortion clinic before.
Starring Dean Cain as a detective, the PG-13 film explores the shocking crimes and trial of Philadelphia abortionist Kermit Gosnell, sentenced to life for killing thousands of babies across 3 decades. As far back as the 70s, the sign on Gosnell's West Philadelphia clinic read, Women's Medical Society. Then in 2010, while investigating an illegal prescription drug operation, federal agents discovered what they called a house of horrors. 3 years later, a jury found Gosnell guilty of murdering 3 babies born alive. According to the grand jury report, Gosnell killed them by severing their spinal cords with scissors. Investigators also discovered refrigerators full of aborted fetuses in his offices. The case went largely uncovered by politicians and the mainstream media.
You'd think a case about a medical doctor killing babies born alive would be a big news story. But what was also shocking about the trial of Kermit Gosnell was how little media attention it received. I was in the courtroom for CBN News covering the trial, just one of a handful of journalists in that courtroom. And that really became part of the storyline, which is why it was described as one of the most important stories never told.
We at the Media Research Center, we actually tracked this, and we found it took 56 days before all 3 broadcast networks covered his story. So those are news shows by ABC, NBC, and CBS. So yes, there was absolutely a blackout, and it's hard to know why exactly, because abortion is a huge issue that Americans are concerned about, and this shouldn't just be an issue for, say, people who are against abortion or for abortion. It's a human rights issue. These were atrocities that were happening in this abortion clinic.
Producers Ann McElhenney and Phelan McAleer say they were on a mission to expose the truth about Gosnell. They told CBN News Hollywood rejected the film because of its subject matter.
At every moment of this process, there's been challenges. Like even from the very beginning, when we started the crowdfunding campaign, and we went to Kickstarter, where we had raised money before for a different film, for Frack Nation, and suddenly we go to Kickstarter. You know, we tell them our whole campaign, and suddenly they're basically censoring us. They said, "Oh, you can't mention babies murdered. You can't mention babies stabbed to death," and it's like, well, how do we tell the story? Why are we raising money for a film about a thing? We have to describe it. So it wasn't that. It wasn't that. They didn't want us to have this. They didn't want to have anything to do with us.
Actor Kevin Sorbo and his wife Sam supported the movie by urging people to donate to the fundraising campaign. Sorbo recently tweeting, "We raised over $2 million for the making of this film. Hope you all support to see the truth behind this case." Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest serial killer, is set to release to over 600 theaters nationwide October 12th. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Thanks, Charlene. Terry, this film has the potential to be a big talker.
You know, it's really difficult to imagine, isn't it, that something so horrific could happen and that your political position on the issue of abortion would keep you from acknowledging just how horrific this was. I mean, this defies comprehension. Well, you know, one of the ways we can certainly make our voice heard is to see the movie when it comes out, as awful as it will be. Well, up next, artifacts from Jerusalem on display in Oklahoma.
Whenever you find discoveries like this, you know, actual physical items that people can touch, and they have inscribed on them the names of biblical figures, it's always powerful. This is science proving the Bible.
So exciting. See how the personal seals of King Hezekiah and Isaiah the prophet are making the Bible come to life. King Hezekiah and the prophet Isaiah worked together in the Bible, and now archaeology has brought them together again in Oklahoma, of all places. CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell has that story.
What connected the two men is an exhibit of their personal impressions that would have been used to seal documents. A simulcast linking Jerusalem with Oklahoma's Armstrong Auditorium marked the debut.
This is a celebration day for all our friends, and especially for the lovers of Israel and the Bible.
Archaeologist Dr. Eilat Mazar helped uncover the artifacts in 2009.
This is one of the bullae that we found. It's a seal impression, very tiny, as large as you can see it now, but this is only 1 centimeter in diameter, even not the nail on my finger.
Workers uncovered both items just a few feet apart here at the foot of the Temple Mount. Historically, it's been called the Ophel, meaning a high place to climb to. King Hezekiah, considered one of Judea's greatest leaders, and the prophet Isaiah lived some 2,700 years ago.
When people wanted at that time, biblical times, to seal a document, they used, they tied the document with the strings, and then they took a little tiny mud and pushed their private seal to the soft mud and made a seal impression which contained, and you could read their names.
Hezekiah's reads, "Belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah."
To find such a private item that relates to one of the Judean kings, we came so close to that kind of figure.
Isaiah's isn't as clear. It reads, "Belonging to Isaiah," but the second word is missing a letter that could complete the Hebrew word for prophet.
Whenever you find discoveries like this, you know, actual physical items that people can touch, and they have inscribed on them the names of biblical figures, it's always powerful. This is science proving the Bible.
Mazar's grandfather, Benjamin Mazar, led the first excavation after the 1967 Six-Day War that reunited Jerusalem.
My grandfather excavated 10 continuous years without stopping. This was a fantastic project, almost no parallel in dimensions. Hundreds of people worked. They revealed fantastic remains of ancient Jerusalem from all periods.
We've had a partnership with Dr. Eilat Mazar since 2006, but our relationship with the Mazar family actually goes back to 1968. when her grandfather worked with the namesake of our college, Herbert W. Armstrong. So since that time, we've sent students to volunteer on the excavations, and we've also provided funding for some of her work.
Dr. Michael Oren, Israel's Minister of Diplomacy, calls Eilat Mazar a hero.
She has fought for Israel's future by fighting for its past, and against the face of a lot of naysayers, and particularly people in the world today who deny a historical connection between Israel and the city of Jerusalem, people who deny there ever was a King David or a King Hezekiah or a prophet Isaiah. Eilat digs down and she finds it and she proves them all wrong.
10 years ago, while digging in the city of David, Mazar believes she discovered King David's palace.
Its monumentality is obvious. Everybody can see. Also, its date, been constructed sometime around 1000 BC, the time of King David in general, based on the pottery that we found underneath and within. These facts brought us to understand that we've got fantastic monumental construction.
While many archaeologists dismiss the Bible, Mazar maintains it to be an important historical source.
The biblical stories and the New Testament stories, by the way, it goes together because they just prove quite accurately the development of Jerusalem, and the way Jerusalem is described is quite accurate.
The Oklahoma exhibit contains other artifacts, including a life-size replica of Hezekiah's underground water tunnel. Oren believes the significance of these pieces goes way beyond science.
Archaeology is not just about revealing the past. Archaeology is about securing our present. Archaeology is about ensuring our future. Archaeology is about richness, it's about rootedness, and as Eilat Mazar will tell you, it's about truth.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Fascinating, isn't it? What treasures lie beneath the ground in Israel? If you haven't visited, I seriously suggest you think about it. It's amazing. Well, coming up, he was at the beach with his daughter when an Arab man asked if he was American.
He took about 3 paces and called to me, and when I stood up, he had a 9mm pistol aimed at my chest.
As he did that, that bullet went off.
See why what happened next had the shooter in tears after this. When 9/11 hit, Ray Norman and his daughter were half a world away, but that doesn't mean they were spared the effects. At the time, Ray was an aid worker in an Islamic country. Anti-Americanism was in the air, and soon that led to a bullet being fired into his daughter's chest.
The days and weeks following 9/11 were tenuous times for Americans, especially for people like Ray Norman and his family. His work with the Christian humanitarian organization World Vision had brought them to Mauritania, an Islamic republic on the west coast of Africa.
We were the largest humanitarian organization working with the government to fight poverty in the country. I knew there were some pockets of extremism in the country that were not happy with our presence. There was rocks thrown at our cars, and the government assigned guards at our home and our office around my daughter's school. So it was a very tense time.
After 5 weeks, security measures were lightened as tensions eased. Ray decided to take his daughter Hannah to a nearby beach. He'd gotten out to lock the wheels into four-wheel drive when an Arab man walked up and greeted him.
He asked me if I was an American, which didn't alarm me at the moment. I said, yes, I am. And then he said, well, thank you, and he went on his way. He took about 3 paces, turned around, and called to me. And when I stood up, he had a 9mm pistol aimed at my chest. And of course, as a father, all of my thoughts were about how do I protect Hannah. I was hoping if he got me, maybe he'd leave her alone.
I started screaming, Daddy, that man has a gun, he has a gun.
As Ray scrambled to get in the vehicle, the man pulled the trigger, but the gun misfired.
It went click, click, click. And he took the gun and he tapped it twice and took aim again, but with Hannah screaming, he took the gun's aim off of me and aimed at Hannah.
My dad, he threw himself up against the window to block the man's view of me. And as he did that, that bullet went off.
The bullet came through my right arm. Glass went everywhere. It went into our eyes, under our skin.
Ray spun off as the man fired into the rear window. They made it to safety, but something was wrong.
I felt out of breath. I felt like something had punched me.
The bullet that had gone through my arm had struck her in the center of her chest. And so my world crumbled. And then she said to me, she said, "Well, Daddy, am I about to die?" I could only respond in faith. And something just welled up within me, and I said, "Hannah, you're not going to die.
I need you to pray." And says, "Okay, Daddy, I can do that." I just called in the name of Jesus over and over and over again.
Ray sped towards the nearest clinic, praying desperately for his daughter.
I had an argument right there in my prayers. I said, "Lord, this is not the way it was supposed to be."
Clinic staff tended to Hannah and rushed her in for x-rays.
And it turned out that when the bullet had hit her chest, it bounced off her sternum, slid across her rib cage, and exited in her armpit. But the bullet had not penetrated her lungs or her heart, and she was going to survive.
By then, friends had gathered at the clinic to support them.
I remember with tears raising my hands in the air and saying, "Lord, thank you. Your promises are true and faithful." And I remember a Muslim friend looking at me and says, "Yes, your Jesus is faithful."
Both were patched up and flown to Paris for medical attention. Hannah's mother, Helen, was finally able to see her daughter.
My first reaction was to go straight to Hannah and just hold her. She, in fact, was sitting up in bed looking very chipper. The Holy Spirit stepped in and protected both of them from those bullets. I was just so convinced of that from the beginning.
As they recovered physically, the family tried to make sense of what happened.
Why did he try to kill my father and myself?
Someone who represented a people that I had felt called to serve in the name of Christ would inflict such harm. This man had never given me the opportunity to tell him how much I cared about him and his people. He just walked out of the sand dunes and shot.
I felt somewhat sorry for him. Like, why did he feel the need to do what he did?
A few days after the shooting, authorities caught the gunman, Ali Ould Sidi. Once the Normans returned to Mauritania, a Muslim friend of Ray's explained what would likely happen.
This man has shamed his family, his clan. Many people are very upset at what he did. He said, "You need to understand that before his case ever comes to trial, he will probably conveniently disappear."
I was shocked, like that, why would that happen? Why does he deserve that? I was angry, I was upset, and it didn't make sense to me for that to happen.
The family requested a visit with Ali in prison. 6 months later, they were finally granted a 5-minute visit.
Seeing him was just sort of a relief because I saw that he was human too, and he wasn't a monster, he was just a man, and he looked really sad.
He was obviously shocked to see us. And you could tell by the look on his face that he was expecting us to accuse him, to bring him grief. I turned to Hannah and I said, "Hannah, do you want to say anything to the prisoner?" She addressed him directly. She said, "Mr. Ali, I have 2 things I want to say. First is, I want to know why you tried to kill my daddy."
He paused for a while and then said, "I lost my head." I said, "Mr. Ali, I hold no bitterness in my heart towards you, and I forgive you." He froze, and he didn't move for a couple seconds. And when he looked up, we could all see he had tears in his eyes. I saw how fragile he was, and even then, my heart continued to soften for him.
It wasn't easy. I was still shaking at the time. I was also hearing God ushering me into getting closer to this man. I just started explaining to him the fact that maybe God was thinking about him when he protected Ray and Hannah, because he had designs and plans for his life.
The next day, the Normans received a handwritten letter from Ali.
"I cannot find the words to describe our meeting today. Although I still feel remorse with regard to the evil I have caused you, words cannot express the depth of my joy in seeing you with your daughter, that little angel, alive and well. Many times I have heard of Christian charity, of Christian kindness and love. When you came to see me, I saw it and experienced it.
In accordance with Sharia law, the Norman family's public forgiveness helped to commute Ali's sentence, and he was released after 1 year in prison. The Normans never got to see him again. But for them, the experience confirmed everything they believe about the God they serve.
He gives us this ability to forgive and to love that is unnatural. As natural human beings, we can't just do this.
For God so loved the world, he gave his son. For God so loved Muslims, he gave his son.
The love of God is such a powerful thing. It is overarching above anything that can happen, anything that occurs. You know, even if someone had died in that attack, God's love would still be just as real. But the amazing thing that stands out in this story, I think, is the power of forgiveness. The power of forgiveness to reach out to someone who had tried to harm fatally. The power of forgiveness in the heart of a father who simply wanted to protect his daughter and had to contend with the fact that there were issues in life where he couldn't. The power of a little girl who'd been taught about the love of Jesus and who, though struck down by that bullet, was still able to go face to face to the man who was the perpetrator and say, I forgive you. This man's heart was changed by what he saw in this family, but there's a lesson in this for you and for me. You know, it's one thing to talk about our faith. It's one thing to talk about the love of God. It's one thing to say how much we love him in return. But the proof of the pudding really is when something is done to us, something unfair, something hurtful, something that might take away a loved one or maybe even damage us physically, permanently. Can we forgive? Well, I think the little girl in this case said, you know, she's now a young woman, but she said, it's not possible in and of ourselves. But when we understand that God so loved the world, all of the world, that he forgives us, then we begin to understand that forgiveness is required of us as well. Who are we to hold on to bitterness and resentment and forgiveness when the God of the universe, who created us with intent and with purpose and with love, can overlook and forgive our sin? Are we not required to do that to others? You know, I think the stumbling block in forgiveness, offering it to someone else for us, is that it sometimes leaves the impression that we're actually saying that what was done wasn't serious, that it wasn't significant, that it wasn't damaging or life-changing. The truth of the matter is, God calls us to forgive so we can be set free. Things like bitterness and resentment and anger eat away at us on the inside. They can make us sick. So today, if there are people in your life who have harmed you, you know, sometimes we get questions in our email where people will say, well, how do I offer forgiveness to someone who's not asking for it or who's not sorry for what they did? Forgiveness really has nothing to do with the other party. It has everything to do with you and me. Are we willing to let go of the hurt? Are we willing to extend to someone else the same thing that God has extended to us because of who he is, because of his love for us and what he asks of us? Today, I want to say to you, if you're harboring bitterness or resentment, if someone has wronged you in a way that has just stuck in your craw, that has you thinking all the time about how you'd like to retaliate, what you'd say if you could, how unfair all of this was, Jesus wants to set you free today. Forgiveness is a choice. So I want to suggest to you that you offer it today. You don't have to feel like you can. You don't have to feel like it's fair. Just do it out of obedience, and your heart will follow, because God will honor that. You will be set free in a way that will allow you to live your life the way Jesus said he came for us to live it, abundantly. When we're all tied up in knots inside, we can't do that. If you'd like to know what the Word of God has to say about forgiveness, we've got a great little pamphlet we'd like to share with you. It's free for the asking, so is the number that you call. It's 1-800-700-7000. Just say, I saw that story today and I'd like the forgiveness pamphlet. We'll send it out to you right away. Well, something fun ahead. The stars of a new reality TV show, Rattled, Ryan and Julia Sadler, talk about their multiples miracle. The whole family joins us live. That's later on today's 700 Club. You don't want to miss it.
And welcome back to the 700 Club. Christians are leading a big effort to heal America's racial divide Saturday. Stone Mountain in Georgia has long been a symbol of racial division. In 1915, the KKK lit fire to a cross on the mountain. But now thousands of believers from across racial and denominational lines will gather there to pray for racial healing. It's part of an event called One Race.
It is always the right time to right wrongs of the past, you know, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're calling the church to a place of historic division, right? To Stone Mountain of Georgia, where in 1915 the Klan rebooted there, which really represents the rift that exists within the church, that exists within America. And we're calling the church to be reconciled, to be the tip of the spear, to speak out, to lead in a place where the church has historically lagged. And it's an invitation to gospel-centered reconciliation for the body.
One Race begins tomorrow, Saturday at 9 in the morning. Operation Blessing is providing medical aid for earthquake victims in Indonesia. They delivered hundreds of pounds of medicine to Indonesia after the August 5th quake rocked the region, and medical teams are on the ground treating victims. Operation Blessing is also assessing the damage and making plans for the reconstruction and recovery efforts. You can learn more about what Operation Blessing is doing by visiting its website, ob.org. Terry is back with more of today's 700 Club. It's coming up right after this.
Well, as every parent knows, life is never the same after the birth of a baby. And that's the premise of a new reality show on the Learning Channel. It's appropriately called Rattled, and it explores the life-changing experience of new parenthood through the lives of 4 couples from across the country. One of those couples is with us today.
Ryan and Julia Sadler waited 7 years after they were married to have children. In 2016, Julia got pregnant right away, but she miscarried. They tried again, but while on vacation, Ryan and Julia lost a baby for a second time.
We had a sense that we're supposed to be parents. I felt the whole time that it was just, God said it's not time yet.
Even after a third miscarriage that same year, Ryan and Julia never stopped believing for a family.
No matter what happened, I kept just hearing in my spirit, I've got you. I know what I'm doing. Trust me.
Follow Ryan and Julia's pregnancy adventures and more on TLC's reality series, Rattled.
Please welcome to the 700 Club, Ryan and Julia Sadler. It's great to have you both here.
Thank you for having us. We're excited.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Julia, you made a prayer list in 2015. Tell me about the last thing on that list.
Yes, the last thing on the list was that we would be blessed with 3 children.
So you had a number in mind. That's so interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. 2016 was a rough year, Ryan. Tell me about what happened that year.
Well, we actually, we started actually encountering difficulty staying pregnant, I guess you would say. You know, we experienced a miscarriage, and I'll let Julia, I mean, it was not the easiest time in our family's life to have to endure those kinds of things. It was hard. It was definitely loss.
You know, I had a daughter that experienced 1 miscarriage, and it was devastating for all of us. How did you endure 3 in 1 year?
Yeah. Well, the first one was kind of, not that it was expected, but I had a lot of friends say, you know, that's pretty common, not unusual.
Yes.
And it coincided, actually, I'm the girls minister at First Baptist Dallas, and it coincided with an event I was having for 100 girls, which was on how God has a purpose for your life today.
Wow.
It was for teenagers, and not some future plan. I mean, of course he has one, but that there's still a purpose today. And so it was such a neat reminder that even though we had lost that child, there were 100 girls in my backyard that I was getting to pour into. And so kind of the first miscarriage was sad, but we're like, okay, there's still a plan here. But then every single miscarriage after that went directly along with something huge going on in our ministry. And so we really started looking at it from a spiritual warfare perspective. And when we started looking at it from that perspective, it gave us the right tools and the right weapons to fight with.
It must have been hard for you, because I think for men often, you know, what's happening is happening to the woman and to her body. And I think for husbands, you always want to fix whatever the problem is for your wife. What was that like for you, Ryan?
It was definitely not easy to have to kind of come to the realization and accept the fact that there's nothing that I really could do except for being there for Julia. That was probably the hardest thing, was like, oh, well, everything's going to be okay. Well, we don't know that, you know, and we had to just trust, and we had to pray a lot about it, and really just had to be there for Julia and really come alongside her and do what I could to encourage her, even though we were experiencing such, you know, tragedy, honestly.
Well, what you're saying, I think, is so true. You really had to just fall back on the faith that you had before. And Julia, your dad's a pastor.
Yes.
So how did your faith influence this process for you?
Oh, yes, definitely. I'm very thankful that I was raised in a Christian home, and my parents instilled in me just that we can't know what the future holds, but we know the one that holds the future.
Amen.
And it was interesting. It's kind of like I went through boot camp before this happened. I became a licensed professional counselor before the biggest battle probably of our lives. And I'm very blessed to have had a very strong faith upbringing. And that definitely prepared me for this. Thankful for Bible drill.
Yeah, really. I often say, get it together before the hit comes, because it's so hard to stand in the midst of difficulty. So here you are, you've gone through 3 miscarriages. Now you're pregnant the 4th time. I mean, at this point, I would be so afraid to believe. Now, how far along are you when you find out you are carrying triplets?
Well, the pregnancy test comes back positive a week early. And so we have the live moment recorded, and I go, Ryan, I know it's twins. I know it. And we have us praying, like, in the moment, God, please, because we really wanted those lives redeemed. And so we'd been praying for multiples. And so we really thought it was twins, especially at our student ministry camp when I couldn't get out of bed. So we're like, something's going on here. But we found out, what week would it have been? Maybe 7 weeks.
Wow, at 7 weeks. You know, I can remember with my first pregnancy asking God for multiples as well, and then upon the arrival of one going, thank you, you did not listen to me. So what's the biggest lesson, and it might be different for each of you, that you've learned through this challenge?
I think ours are different. Do you want to go first?
Mine is, that was a very hard time for us. It really was, because a lot of things in our marriage was just, you know, we were kind of coasting along. We kind of were at a point where we kind of thought we had things figured out, you know.
It's a dangerous place
exactly,
to be.
Exactly, right. And you know, and so at that point it was just, it hit, and we were like, what's going on? Like, we hadn't been tested like this before, you know. And so we learned through that it's, you either run to God or you run from God. And I kind of realized that, you know, you can have a thriving relationship with God even in the midst of suffering.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can run to Him, you can, you know, pray to Him, and He is there. He is our refuge. He is our strength, and that's the biggest encouragement or lesson that I've learned.
How about you, Julia?
I think the biggest one I learned is that God has a plan for us that isn't contingent on our ability to get pregnant or find a spouse or whatever we think would be the best thing that can happen. That even though our struggles surprise us, they don't surprise God, and He has a plan even in the heartbreak and the suffering, and it's going to be worth it.
And you've said more than you could have asked for. Imagine. Well, you kind of did ask for it, but
I know. I always laugh whenever I say kind of what would you say? Yeah, the verse that we prayed and how we prayed, and then people are like, and you didn't expect triplets?
Shocker.
Yes.
So I want to talk for just a second before we meet the triplets about your TV show, because it's a new show coming on the air, right?
It's the third season.
Third season.
Yes.
Okay. Called Rattled.
Yes.
It's on
TLC. Yes.
And people can see your story, meet the kids, watch your mayhem.
Right. That's right. Yes.
That's awesome. Well, the triplets are with us in the studio, so we want to take a look at Blair, Barrett, and Blake. So 2 boys and a girl, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Here they come. Boy, our staff is loving this.
Oh, wow.
Come on. Look
Y'all can
at
help
this.
us every day.
Hi, buddy.
Hello, baby.
Hi. Come here. Yeah, Passy. Yes. You want to see Mommy and Daddy? That's probably the safest direction here. They are adorable. I mean, I feel... I can't imagine. I am speechless. What was it like for you after you had the babies? Was it sheer pandemonium?
Well, they were in the NICU for about 9 weeks, and so it was very difficult. We watched them fight for their lives. They were only a few pounds, and
so they came early.
Yes, they came. I went into premature labor at 23 weeks. And we had the neonatologist come in and say, you know, they're going to be born blind, they're going to be born deaf, they're going to be born with brain bleeds if they're born right now.
Any other good news?
Yeah, right. And it was just so interesting because Ryan and I talked about it later, and we both just felt in our spirit God say no. Like, that is not what's going to happen. And luckily, we had so many people praying for them. So immediately when they were born, they were in the NICU, and then they came home, and then we received lots of help from
Hallelujah.
Yes.
So tell me just quickly about their personalities. And this little guy is...
That's Blake.
Blake.
Hi,
Blake. Yeah, this is Blake. Blake is, let's see, he was the last one. We thought, okay, Blake, you know, he's going to be kind of our easy baby. And he's easygoing, he hangs out and stuff. And then all of a sudden, he let us know what was going on.
Yes.
And he's, you know,
He's very sweet. Blake is very sweet and very strong. And he has always really cared about how they were doing. So when they cry, he's like, what's going on? I need to take care of them.
And one little girl. Tell me about
her. One little girl. Blair is the combination of sweet and sassy. So she is very sweet and very sassy.
She just looks like she's ready for an adventure.
She is. And then when she's with Blake, she's more calm. And when she's with Barrett, she's more hyper.
Job,
so she goes with whoever she's with at the time.
Hilarious. And tell me about this little guy.
Barrett is a lover and a fighter. So when he's mad, he's mad. And when he's happy, he entertains the whole room.
I like that. I like that.
He's pretty subdued right now.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Right? Thankfully. Well, they're beautiful, and what a great story God has given you. Yes, you are hilarious. Well, we can see more of the Sadler family on their TV show, Rattled. That's on Tuesdays. It's at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on TLC. Plus, we have a social exclusive interview with the Sadlers on our Facebook page. If you'd like to watch that, simply go to facebook.com/700club. What fun. What joy. And you are so styling, girl. Well, coming up, a young boy becomes a Christian in one of the most Buddhist nations on earth. See how that happened. It's next. Thank you. 6-year-old Hamdang lives in a Buddhist nation. Recently, he became a Christian thanks to CBN's animated series, Superbook.
Recently, 6-year-old Hamdang started attending a Sunday school class at a Christian church near his home in Thailand. There's a big reason he keeps coming back: Superbook. His favorite episode so far? the story of Abraham and Isaac.
I saw when the man was about to kill his son, and God stopped him. God said, "Do not touch the boy. It's just a test."
94% of the people of Thailand are Buddhists, including Homdang's family. But the boy's father doesn't mind his son attending church. In fact, he walks him there and drops him off every Sunday.
I'm not against him going. I know if my son goes to church and has something to hold on to, I think that is a good thing.
As he attends, he's learned more about Jesus and the Bible. This is his teacher, Miss Tariga.
One day we were talking about Jesus, and I asked Homdang, "Would you like to be in Jesus' family?" He said he was ready.
In my prayer, I said I wanted Jesus to come in my heart. I prayed to be a Christian kid.
And Miss Tariga reported that he's taken what he's learned home to his parents.
He told me when he went home one day, he said, "Mama, our house has no Jesus, but Jesus is at my teacher's house and at church."
Sometimes he says, "Mom, Jesus is real, you know. You must have faith." He always invites us to church on Sunday.
Meanwhile, parents are beginning to attend Superbook classes too.
The adults, when they bring their kids, some of them sit in and join the class. It's not just the cartoons. They stay for the Bible lesson too. I'd like to thank you for Superbook. You produce the best lessons for children.
I love my teacher and I love Superbook so much.
You know, you can be a part of bringing the message of God's love to children all around the world when you join the Superbook Club. And on top of that, when you do it, we're going to send you 3 copies of the newest episode of Superbook for your recurring gift of $25 on a credit or debit card. And then every 4 weeks, you'll receive each new Superbook episode, and your account will be automatically debited $25. When you join today, we're going to send you 3 copies of the newest DVD, Teach Us to Pray, and the Superbook End of the Summer Party Pack containing 3 additional Superbook episodes, Noah and the Ark, Jonah, and Paul and the Shipwreck. That's 6 DVDs for $25. Join now. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com. You'll be amazed at how your kids are going to love Superbook. Well, 1 out of every 6 kids faces hunger in the United States today, and summer is the most hungry time of the year. Just ask single mom Tiffany Carter. She often skips meals herself during the summer just so she can feed her 3 girls. Take a look.
In Norfolk, Virginia, more than 70% of children in the public school system get free or subsidized meals during the school year. But in the summer, it's all up to their parents.
Sometimes I don't eat because I need my kids to eat. Sometimes I don't have the extra, so I have to choose either bills or food, and most of the times I have to choose the bills.
Tiffany Carter is a single mother. Faith plays an important role in her life as she trusts in God to bring clients to her salon.
I just wake up in the morning and say, "God, please provide. Bring an overflow in my salon." It's my own business, so it's not like someone is paying me every week a regular check. So by the grace of God, I'm able to see everything through day by day. But it is a struggle.
Operation Blessing's Doug Hensley knows how hard parents in this community work to feed their families.
These parents are struggling and wanting to provide for their kids. Sometimes they just don't have a means.
It's like, I need your help, God. I really need your help. I don't know what to do.
Operation Blessing recognized this desperate need, so we established a new summer feeding program in partnership with the United Way and YMCA. Throughout the summer, we're helping families fill the gap.
These parents that have to choose between paying bills and buying food, this program has put food on their tables. We've provided over 8,000 bags of food over the past few weeks to hundreds of families.
Wow, the first time that we received the bags from Operation Blessings, I looked in the bag and I was like, wow, this is what is needed. So thank you, God, and thank you for Operation Blessings, because I was excited.
According to Tiffany, that feeling is shared by many.
Everybody's excited. Everybody is excited, so it's not just my family, it's others. So I know that it's helping other people. That's the joy of Operation Blessings in these bags.
The looks that we see on these parents' faces is amazing. When they receive the bags of food, they are so grateful.
Tiffany said she's grateful for everyone who supports Operation Blessing.
I thank you guys for donating to Operation Blessing. Whatever you give, it's a blessing to single parents and single family such as mine. Everything that you give, everything that you donate, it helps us as parents to feed their children. It's a blessing to us all. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You know, you saw Hamdang's story. That was on the other side of the globe, but this is right here at home. These are our brothers and sisters right here in America trying to raise their families and who just struggle to make ends meet. You offer the opportunity when you join the 700 Club to be there for them, to reach out, to make a difference, to keep families together, to help moms and dads who are hardworking but just need a little bit more than they're able to make. So join the 700 Club. You can make such an incredible difference right from the pleasure and the comfort of your own living room. All you have to do is pick up your phone and call. Our number's toll free. It's 1-800-700-7000. 65 cents a day, $20 a month makes you a 700 Club member. And I'm happy to be able to show you today that membership impacts people right here in the United States as well as in countries around the world. So be a part of that. You know, you'll be joining with thousands of us who are out to change the world with the love of Jesus. And when you join the 700 Club, we're going to send you Pat's latest teaching, Angels, Their Power, Purpose, and Presence. We've had great response to this. We think you'll be blessed by it. At the same time, you'll have the privilege of knowing that you are blessing others. Today's Power Minute is from Psalm 115, verse 14. May the Lord give increase more and more, you and your children. Well, you saw that on our show today. It was fun being with you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.